Hi, my name is David Lee, and I'm a non-dual teacher living in Northern California. Have you ever thought about how much time we are all in our heads in thought, and how thinking removes us from presence, and also how thinking is a departure from presence? Conceptualization. So we apply labels to everything we see, and we see the world through our labels rather than a direct experience of what is, what's shining right in front of us. I'm saying this with more emphatically because I want to impress upon those who watch this that it's amazing. We live so much of the time in our thoughts that are again removed from what's now, what's real, what's actually happening. It's there's so much filterization that goes on, and then our perceptions can be, clear, or they can be skewed. So I'm bringing emphasis to this, and just so thinking is a slippery word. Thoughts are slippery. I find conceptualization a more accurate description, because conceptualization is essentially word labels that we give to everything visual, everything non-visual. But let's just use an example. When we see a tree, we say tree, and we know the tree through, it the label, and that label applies to what we're seeing. And to live most of our life in our thinking, wordy, thought-based reality is, well, one, unnecessary, and a hindrance to this much more alive, naked, beautiful, spontaneous relationship we are meant to have with everything. So I want to do this fun little experiment with you. My teacher, Tony Packer, showed this to me 25 years ago or so, and it had such a big impact on me. And this just illustrates what I'm talking about. So here we go. What is that? Now you'd say, well, it's a clap. And then I respond, I say, that is a word that you're applying to a concept of a clap. And then, I do it again. And one might say, well, it's two hands coming together to make a sound. And I'd say, well, that's a label that's describing, it's pointing to what you heard, but it's not. And then I suppose the answer, and it took me years to even get to this answer, is that the only way to address, well, what is with, and it ends there. So again, I want to just share this to illustrate how much of the time we're in this once removed reality with all the overlay of our perceptions and judgments and very sometimes, again, accurate or skewed ways that we may have our view of what reality is. So you may be asking yourself, okay, good. Well, what are you saying here? Where are you going with this? And where I'm going with this is how the separate self, this apparent self, we take ourselves to be through thought isn't our deep true nature of who we are. Thought is a fabrication of this beautiful, pure, open, empty, or full sense of being with direct relationship to each moment as it's arriving, what it's revealing. And the sad truth is that thought reinforces this sense of separateness, separation, and creates this dualistic world that we live in, subject and object. And not to say that there isn't the relative world through perception of duality and everything in our world being dualistic. Even our eyes reveal that there's some reality to it. Yet what would it be like to be free from the ongoing narrative we're constantly infusing with our almost every waking moment? Back to the clap example. I was a younger man, and it really had a strong impression on me. And I got the connection. I saw what my teacher Tony was saying, and I really went with it. And I developed in a way to have a period of time, not too long, but periods of time in nature where I was just open. I wasn't labeling anything, and I was in this beautiful, quiet relationship to everything without labels. And fast forward, this led me to explore non-dual spirituality and having direct experience more and more in my life, and what that means as to the difference between who I think I am to who I actually am, with the mind in abeyance, in quiet. Now, first, I want to say this conditioning, deep conditioning of knowing ourselves through thought and relating to the world through thought is very strong. So I want to be clear. It takes some call it spiritual work or internal work to first have awareness of this, and secondly, have more freedom and more quietness by untying the actual threads to all of this. On the progressive path, and what I mean by progressive path is the assumption, meditation, yoga, chanting, possibly other practices that help purify oneself, and in so doing, the mind naturally quiets and begins to probe more deeply. The direct path is one of investigation. It's one of inquiry into the nature of thought, the nature of who I am, who we are. And that is a way of developing wisdom, cultivating wisdom, and in so doing, naturally surrendering and letting go of the chatter or thinking that, as I said earlier, reinforces this sense of the separate self. So these wisdom teachings help us to gradually just return to quiet rather than needing to meditate and pushing oneself to meditate to achieve results. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying it's quite a difference when this unraveling, this untying of the nature of our minds and separation is discovered. And this is where I feel very excited, and I am of service as a teacher to help explore this. It's really, it leads to a great degree of personal freedom, personal expansiveness, and inner quietness. So waking up in this way is like pulling a curtain back, exposing the fabricating mind in contrast to an open, bright, quiet, and observant mind. In bringing this video to a close, I don't want to suggest that thinking is wrong or some sort of lower vehicle. What I do want to say, though, is thinking is like a tool, a rather large tool in a toolbox, and it's meant to be used just as that for planning purposes, for lots of different ways throughout our day that we do need to use it, especially living in the relative world. Yet it doesn't need to command us and control us and feeling a victim to it like so many of us do. I am so very grateful to my teachers throughout the years who have helped me with this understanding, the support that I've needed to make this transition. I am very dedicated to helping you in your journey do the same. Support is needed in this transition, and I am dedicated to supporting you and opening up to your true nature. And in so doing, having greater awareness of natural presence, relaxing into your body, deeply sensing your body. To learn more, you can see links below this video, and one will be to my website. And on the events page, you'll see where I'm offering a class. It's by donation. It's a Zoom meeting by donation, and it'll be exploring the very things I'm talking about today. And I hope you have benefited from watching this, and I hope to uh, see you in some future event or meeting. Thank you.